If you have 4 drinks on Friday night and have to give a urine sample on Sunday night. And you are a 160-pound male with less than 10% body fat. Will you be positive on the new ETG urine tests?
The ETG test identifies a biomarker for recent alcohol use, not the alcohol itself. While many sites suggest detection up to 80 hours, this long of a detection period is unlikely except with very heavy use. A recent study looked at the sensitivity of commercially available ETG testing, again using the lowest sensitivity, and found that all specimens were negative within 26 hours. http://www.ncb.nlm.nih.gov/pubmed/173767884 I believe that there are several reasons for so many sites referencing the 80-hour range, including labs trying to convince those ordering the test that they are more effective than science might suggest, and those websites that are promoting useless products that claim to beat drug tests can convince customers that their product actually helped them pass the test. In your case, it is likely that your test would be negative, but there is no way to know for sure. As for anything that you can take, unfortunately there really is nothing you can eat, drink, buy or do that will mask the ETG in your urine. You just have to hope that your level is below the threshold of detection.
Let me rephrase. If one has 4 drinks and normal metabolism were to follow. Based on how long ETG levels are detectable for just 1 drink. How long would one have to wait for 4 drinks to be metabolized then? If 80 hours detects heavy use, how many hours do you feel would be adequate to pass an ETG test after 1 single episode in 2 years of these 4 drinks?
The detection period varies both by alcohol intake and individual metabolism. However, there is no way to predict exactly how long any one individual would be positive. With small to moderate intakes such as you describe, most people would be expected to be negative after 26 hours or more. In your case, by 48 hours I would expect, but would not be able to guarantee, a negative test.
If ETG is water-soluble. Then shouldn't drinking lots of fluids add urinating frequently flush out much more and reduce levels of ETG even further? This is extremely stressful not having a more definitive idea of how long 4 drinks can stay detectable. Is there anything one can do to try and reduce the ETG levels in one's urine after having had 4 drinks on a Friday night and before getting tested on a Sunday night, approx 46 to 48 hours later? I have been told that ETG is water-soluble. So would drinking lots of fluids and urinating frequently help flush everything out? I have heard that studies have been done that shows while the S can detect ETG 80 hours after the last drink. If the quantity is light, the test can't detect it. Here is the study I refer to. http://www.ncb.nlm.nih.gov/pubmed/173767884 I just want to know what can and should be done and how long it would take for these 4 drinks to be out completely through ETG. Thanks. Optional information: person's gender, male, person's age, 44.
The study that you mentioned is in fact the study that I referenced in my original answer. In most cases, tests beyond 26 hours would be negative. However, in biologic systems I try to avoid 2 words, always and never. There is no way to know for certain if a test will be negative. As for drinking large amounts of water, there is no evidence that this will flush this metabolite from the body. While it may seem common sense that this would be the case, the physiology of ETG excretion does not support the ability of fluid intake to flush the system of this metabolite. Less concentrated urine at the time of the test will reduce the concentration of ETG in the urine, which may shorten the detection period if the level is borderline.
What if the time between the last drink and the test is increased to 65 to 68 hours for this episode? And not after only 48 hours?
After 26 hours, one would expect most people to have a negative test. By 48 hours, you could be more confident of a negative. By 65 to 68 hours, it is very rare to see positives except in much heavier regular intake of alcohol.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay. The test finally happened, 67 hours later, but since I had trouble urinating in the past, I got a 52-ounce diet soda from 7-Eleven before the test. And when I filled the bottle, the urine was totally clear. Will they still be able to test it, or will I get in trouble for how clear it was instead?
I don't know how this particular program deals with dilute specimens. Color is not the basis for a specimen being dilute, it is based on the urine-specific gravity and the urine creatinine. They can still perform the test, however, your program may have specific rules including retesting or even some additional tests such as hair testing.
Okay. So should a 62-ounce diet soda do anything to those levels? The details are what they are. I drank a huge soda. Will that screw up the creatine and specific gravity? If they do hair testing and I haven't had a drink the previous 10 years, how would my hair grown long enough to show what happened on Friday?
It could potentially cause a dilute, however there is no way to predict since it depends on your overall fluid status, dehydrated versus well hydrated before this intake. That portion of the hair would not be included in a hair test for about 7 to 10 days.
If you have a health question and want to chat with a doctor now, visit justanswer.com/ythealth.